Clark's first love, Lana and She's currently starring in Murder in a Small Town. She's on Fox. If you follow her on Instagram, she's doing book readings, so it's kind of cool. She left in season 7, came back for a couple episodes in season 8, and we would like to welcome Kristin Kreuk.
Funny format that I don't think any of us are fully, I'm sure everyone said this to you. But yes, answering questions is fun. Hi! It's cold in this room.
Yes.
Yes? You guys are cold?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, yes, begin. Hi.
My name is Joy. I'm a huge fan of yours. You're one of my favorite characters on the show. But I love to read, and I know you also love to read. And,
I do.
So I wanted to know what your all-time favorite book is.
Okay, listen, I say the same thing all the time, which is fine. I feel like it's okay. Anne of Green Gables is my favorite, and I got a beautiful edition today as a gift, which is lovely. And I have a, bye Laura! So I got a French edition once. Like, I just have so many editions, it's gorgeous. I also love The Princess Bride. I love, you know what, I reread it, and love is maybe a hard word to use for this book, but I also love Wuthering Heights. Even, yeah, listen, it's not a romance, y'all, but it is a fascinating gothic story, and I still found it so well written and complex and problematic and all of those things. I really, really enjoyed it. And also I read it at a time when, you know, when you read books at a certain age, they kind of live with you. And that was in my teenage years, in the midst of the angst and the drama, and it felt really appropriate.
That's amazing, thank you. My niece's name is actually Avonlea from
Oh, really?
Lana and Clark. Yeah, so
That's a beautiful name.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Kristin, it's Alex. I don't know if you remember me. You just took a photo.
Yes, hello, Alex.
So my question for you is, while filming Smallville, you filmed a lot of seasons. What was your favorite scene to film?
My favorite scene? Oh, that's tough. The one that always sticks in my head, and maybe it's because it was close to the end, is the big loft goodbye scene with Tom in season 8. And it was a very emotional scene, and we cried a lot and had snot in our noses, but we also laughed, and it felt like such an appropriate way for me to leave the show in tears and in love. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very nice. Hi, Kristin, I'm Dave.
Hi, Dave.
And I'm Matt.
Oh, this is a team question.
For most of the show, you played somebody who was saved frequently by Clark, but then
Indeed.
near the end, you gained superpowers. How do you play somebody with superpowers? Do you carry yourself differently in that situation?
Did I? I think because that whole arc was kind of a hero's journey arc, I'm referencing someone's paper right now. But it was a hero's journey arc. She had gone through a lot of changes before we got to that point. So her physicality should have been different. I don't know if I did that as an actor. My gosh, I hope so. But yes, I think that once you have the physical capacity to do that much, you can lift things, I think you carry yourself differently in the world. I don't know about everybody else, but being a small-ish person, I have a tendency sometimes to move through spaces and kind of like swoop myself in and hide. Like I took martial arts, but I could never defend myself, not in a million years. But if I had infinite power and I was completely capable, maybe I would hold myself differently. I don't know. Anyway, long answer. Hope that answered it. Yeah. Correct.
Kristin.
Yes.
Number one, you're my hero.
Thank you.
I really love you so much. This show, Smallville, means a lot to me. I watch it every day, at night, and the love between you and Tom is so really does move me a lot. My name is Smallville Lover Anthony. I'm on your own Instagram. I will follow you at time. It both are great people, and I have a beautiful girlfriend. I call her my Lana, and I call myself her own Clark. What is your best moment with Tom of the whole series?
Oh, wow, what a question. I'm going to give you two different answers. First one is about just Tom himself. Working with him all the time, and this is like a moment that is a moment that spans 7 or 8 years, but he was a joy to work with. I trusted him implicitly. He was lovely and kind with me always. He worked hard and was present, and that kind of moment, if I can call it that, is something that I will always treasure. He was such a great partner. In the show, I don't know, it's funny when you ask me the question, there are things that come up that speaking of like being rescued a lot, honestly those days were the best. The hard days, like when we were in the river, in the glacier river, and it was March, it was freezing cold, and it was, I guess, the Emily episode, and he was rescuing me from that river. Just being able to like get really uncomfortable and then jump into the hot tub and chat, and then jump back into that river and play the scenes and cry and do all that stuff. Those moments were really, really lovely.
That moves me a lot. You are my Lana, the rest of my whole life. I was thinking in my own life, wildest dreams that you and Clark and Tom be my best friends in life. I am so happy I am here to meet you and Tom. You so move me so many ways. I have Down syndrome, and the love between you two with me and my girlfriend to be more and more powerful. Thank you so much for being my Lana. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much.
Love you, Lana.
Hi, Kristin.
Hi.
We just took a photo op together.
Yes.
I want to say thank you so much for coming. I've been chasing you for a little bit. Ever since Fan Expo.
Right, yes. The day I got stuck in Winnipeg, I almost thought that.
Yeah, well, you did Skype into the panel, so that was really awesome. We really appreciate that. But my question is, as you know, Tom and Michael are supposedly working on an animated series.
Oh, it's become supposedly, yes.
So I just don't really know what to believe at this point.
Yes.
But if they got back the original cast, which I think is kind of their plan, where would you picture Lana would be in that particular show?
That's a good question. I mean, I know that there were comic kind of continuations of the storyline, but I don't know what there were. But I would love it if she still had her powers, honestly. And I would love it if she had something she was doing, like a goal, a mission-oriented thing, some reason why they would all come back together again. And when it comes to story, I'd love her to be more active within the story as opposed to reactive within the story, and that would be incredible to me.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, although a lot of times when it comes to dance or stress about the supporting character, she didn't really branch off until
She
kind of left the show and then
Yeah.
like came back to those little arcs and then they developed her character.
Yeah, and I would never think she would need to be like, I mean, Clark is, it's about Clark. But I think that she could have something that's driving as opposed to something that is coming at her. And that would be really fun to do in the animated series. I think there's lots of fun stuff too, especially if Clark and Lana haven't seen each other in all of these years. There's some beautiful catharsis that could be had within that relationship as mature people in their 40s. Because that's what we know.
Imagine 2001, the show started and I was middle school kid, 6th grade. I started watching it and having finished, I think I was in high school by the time I finished.
Yeah. It was the majority of my 20s, so.
Good times.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Juliet.
Hi, Juliet.
I was wondering, I'm in the middle of season 6,
Ooh.
and I just finished the episode where you said yes to Lex's proposal. And ever since you started dating Lex in season 6, there were some awkward scenes where you aren't yourself, and
Okay.
like you're like shifting into Lex. I was just wondering, like, why is that?
Yes, good question. Okay, if I remember correctly, by season 6, Lana had been through a lot. She'd gone through a bunch of stuff with Clark in season 5. I don't remember how that all ended, probably in heartbreak of some kind. Yeah, bad. You're telling me it was bad. So Lex had slowly been offering Lana some sort of, oddly, I think, stability and consistency. He had given her a job, a home. He had been there for her when she'd gone through stuff. I think she'd slowly been building like a deep empathy for him. But when in season 6 she starts to change, and that's really astute. I think that, I mean, she's young, she's still quite young, and she's trying to hold her own in this relationship with him. And I think she starts to, again, I don't remember all the plot points, but I think she's really just trying to, she knows who he is to a degree, so she's trying to play within that world and maintain some sort of power within it. And in order to do that with Lex, you have to play on multiple levels. Like, you can't just be straight. And I think she's starting to adjust in that way, which will ultimately be an error for her, obviously, because he becomes more and more abusive and violent. So how far in are you?
Like, this is my first time watching it,
Yeah.
so I'm like halfway, like, I just finished the episode called Hydro.
Okay.
The weird newspaper lady with water.
Oh, was that? Right. Yeah, right. I remember. There are opinions in this audience. Yeah, I think that is what's going on, but I do think the longer that relationship goes on, there are secrets that she's keeping from him. And so she starts to behave more and more like him to protect those secrets. And at a certain point, she starts to manipulate him as much as he's manipulating her, and then it's just a power play between the two of them. And that was fun to play, but it's definitely, do not mimic your relationships in the future. Julia.
Hi, Kristin.
Hello.
My name's Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I was wondering if you could tell us what's the funniest backstage or off-screen moment you could remember from the show?
I feel like Michael has all of the best ones. And he's told them so many times. But there's the, I don't remember being a part of funny backstage moments. Maybe I'm too serious, but the time that Emmanuel Vauger left fake poop into his toilet. That one was pretty funny. He does not like that. He doesn't like it if people poop in his toilet. And leave it there. And I think it was like an O. Henry bar, I don't know. Yeah. And then there was the green screen story he always tells where they put him in the green screen suit. But I don't remember any funny stories that involve me specifically. There probably are some, but I don't remember. I'd have to ask someone like, you know who remembers all of this stuff is Eric Johnson, who played Whitney Foreman. His memory is incredible. So if you ever talk to him one day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, hello.
Hey Kristin, I'm Mitchell.
Hello, Mitchell.
You guys all did amazing, and one of my favorite episodes was when you were getting sucked up in the tornado. And just your acting was amazing during that scene, and of course the whole series.
I have a factoid. Can I tell you the factoid that I learned from Eric Johnson? Because we had for that episode, Vortex, right? We had the jet propellers that were blowing wind at us. Eric told me that he had asked them about them, and those are the same ones they used for Twister. Isn't that, I didn't know. Anyway, sorry, ask me your thing.
The acting was amazing when you were in the truck and, you know, Clark, Tom, is like staring at you, trying to fly, like, or to just get to you before he could fly. And I just love at how your expression, like, really just said it all. It was amazing.
Thank you.
And recently, one of my favorite TV shows is Reacher. And I want to know how you enjoyed working with Alan Ritson again, since he was Aquaman back in the day.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't work with him a lot on either show, really. Alan and I had one scene together in Reacher, and then he saved me. In a huge scene. I haven't done a scene that big in, like, since Smallville. With, like, we're in a warehouse with stacks of money and all the vats and, like, all the guys with the guns and and Willow was amazing in that scene, like running through, and it was incredible. But it was lovely to work with him. He's a funny guy. He's perfect for that role. And the show itself was, I knew a bunch of the crew, so that was nice. And but it was a big budget show. I hadn't done a big budget show in ages, and so it was fun to dabble in that world again.
Yeah, the acting was amazing, from being in the house when you were talking about Paul, you know, missing, and then when you're in, like, handcuffs, when you're trapped with everybody else. Just the acting was just so real. So great job, and I see you never lose that talent. So
thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks. Yes, Clark Kent, how's it going?
Hi, Kristin. I'm Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Hi. I just wanted to say you've played a lot of great characters over the years. I think I'm counting in my head right now about 5 TV shows that have all had really great runs. Which of the characters has resonated with you the most personally?
I always say, okay, there's a couple ways to answer this, but it really is, because I had such a big part in building the show, sorry, I get everyone's names mixed up now because they all sound the same to me. Joanna is my favorite because she is someone that I invested so much time and energy into building, and I wouldn't say that we're although we are in some capacities. She's much more high functioning than I am and much more messed up than I am, I think. But I love that. But I also really like the character I'm playing now, and I feel like, gosh, I'm like, what's her name again? Cassandra. In my defense, Catherine, Cassandra, and Joanna feel really similar in my brain, and it's hard for me to separate them. But she kind of taps into a little bit more of my I think more functional side, like my little more what feels free about me, or what's silly about me, or, you know, that kind of stuff that I haven't really been able to play. I've been playing very contained, serious characters for a while. So yes.
First 2 episodes have been fantastic.
Good. I'm happy you like them. Oh, and Erica's going to be in the 4th one. So.
Hello.
Hello.
I was gonna just talk about, well, I did like the Ladies of Smallville photo this morning. And
Nice.
the 3 of you together, it's just like so powerful when, like, women come together and support each other and lift each other up. And I was wondering if there are any stories that you have from your work of, like, when women are lifting each other up and that type of thing.
Yes, I mean, it's funny because the 3 of us never really worked together on the show. Erica and I had scenes once in a while, and then Laura and I remember one scene, but I don't remember any more than that, really. But it's in the, there are moments, obviously, always on shows where women come together and it's powerful. But with these particular women, it is off screen, in our personal lives, in the times that we come together, in the teas that we have, in the glasses of wine, in the sitting backstage, and the sharing our process. I mean, I've known them for a very long time. And what we're going through now, and now even Laura's in her 40s. She was the baby. So all of us are going through very different changes and grappling with there are significant changes for us women in our 40s, and that is something that we get to share with each other. And not only that, but our personal lives, but projects that we're trying to develop, things we want to do. We get to cheer each other on. We get to be honest if we're feeling wonky or like hungry for something that we're not having, or whatever it may be. And that, I feel like, is the best part, because you hear stories about actresses on shows and the jealousy and the infighting and the blah, 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 all these stories, but it's just not been our experience, and I'm so grateful for that. It makes going through this journey with them, and also by extension with all of you, just so rich.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Kristin and Andrew. Smallville famously kind of shifts from being like a series of self-contained villain of the week episodes to kind of having more long-running arcs and storylines. And I'm just kind of wondering what it was like being part of that, like that shift. Like, was it more fun? Was it more work? Like what was the experience?
Interesting. I've never been asked that. Yeah, definitely. We started as a Monster of the Week show, and we called it Freak of the Week. Monster of the Week feels better. I think I always gravitated towards, apart from like the X-Files or even Star Trek, I gravitated towards shows that were a little more serialized in nature. And so being on a show that had like this this monster every week was tough for me to initially get comfortable with. So when we started to transition to more serialized, that was fascinating, especially like we were talking about season 6. Season 6 is that for me. It's like very much a serialized story about this this very, very problematic, destructive relationship with Lex. And that digging into that especially as an actor at that point in my life, digging into that every week was really juicy. That said, I think there's something magical about those monsters of the week. There's something really special about it, and if I wasn't being an annoying 20-year-old snob, I think I would have seen that more, because I like having those contained episodes as well, and sometimes it isn't as satisfying for the supporting cast, because our storylines rest more on serialization, because Clark is always involved in the stories. It's really important, and then one or the other of us will get to be involved in the story. It's rare that all the supporting cast is involved. So as an actor, it's a little bit different. And serialization allows you to have a longer kind of acting arc to delve into, as opposed to you are the victim this week, or you are the friend of the so-and-so this week, or you're the, if that makes sense? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Kristin. Hi. Well, I firstly wanted to say that your portrayal of Lana Lang was so inspirational to me and other girls, especially ones of Asian descent, and it meant a lot to us. So thank you for that. And my question, I did want to say, I love your past moments, especially, okay, spoiler alert for the girl who is still in season 6. So sorry. But when you went after Lex, after this, particularly love that, but I wanted to ask you whether you preferred playing more of a badass character or, the sweet character, from the earlier seasons.
To give you a sense of me, I especially when I was younger, so when I started doing theater in like 12th grade, all I ever wanted to do was play the like really angry, really intense, really like anything that was like really, and those were the roles I liked. And so when in part because that's just not how I am in my life, I think. So with Smallville, it was kind of tough for me at first to play Lana because I didn't quite know how to play it. I didn't know girls like that. Honestly, I can't think of, and maybe there weren't girls like that, I don't know. And so when I got to do the other stuff, the kind of tougher stuff, it was really fun. That said, I feel like if it were now, I would feel very differently. Because I think now, knowing what I know, who I am, with the years of experience under my belt, I could play that character in a really interesting way. And not that I didn't, but I just didn't know what I was doing. And I feel like there's so much in there with her to dig into even more. I feel like I might have a different answer for you if it was now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Kristin.
Hi.
My name is Wendy. First of all, I'm a huge fan. It really meant a lot to me when I was growing up, seeing another East Asian woman like me on screen. So, thank you. Also, we had a brief interaction, like more than a decade ago, where I complimented your haircut, and you said thank you, and you were like super kind. So, thank you for that as well. So my question is, what was it like filming the episode Spell, where you, Chloe, and Lois, testing out with the bodies of witches, and how Parker's got her up.
I feel like a lot of people have listened to the podcast episode. Filming Spell was crazy. If you ever want to, there is a Talkville episode about this one. Did you listen to it?
Yes. Not yet. I'm going through them right now.
Okay. There's lots of information there, but I will say it was. I watched clips of it recently, and I watched the whole thing when I did that, and it made me laugh. The episode is funny. I think Erica's really funny in it. She cracks me up. She's such a good comedian. I always wanted for Erica to do like a really good comedy. And I've been like secretly, trying to make that happen. Because she's so funny. And she's great in that episode. And I don't know, it felt very over the top and silly. And I was trying to play at some idea of sexy that the men had in mind, because that was kind of my job sometimes. And I had all the Latin spells and anyway, it was wild. It was a change of pace, but it was fun. And I had some troubles with it. And I had some health issues. But it was, this is a very meandering answer, but it was many things, and it was, and it made me laugh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
I'm Susanna. I love your character on Smallville, and I've been waiting all my life since the moment of this show. Yes. To see the team here. You grew up so much throughout as a character in Smallville. And I enjoyed it, of course, and I admired the character so much. How do you feel you grew throughout the show, as a person or as an actress?
So I grew so much in all capacities on that show. I started when I was 19 years old. I had done 2 other shows before that. I had done a couple seasons of Edgemont, and I had done Snow White. And at this point, I knew what a mark was, and I knew how to hit it, and I knew all the technical things. But I was still trying to figure out being a very shy person who struggled to emote and struggled, at least with others. I was very capable of emoting on my own, but struggled to emote with others, struggled to show vulnerability with people. As an actor, it was really tough. I was really grappling with that personally and grappling with that while I was working. So through the span of that series, I was able to, by the end of it, it's Michael. He's a very quiet man. But I was able to, by the end, I could cry, not only in front of the camera, which was a lovely thing to be able to do, but with my friends, and be able to talk to people on set and have a positive relationship with them. I even became friends with Michael.
I can't stand to fly. I'm not that naive. I'm more than a bird. I'm more than a plane. I'm just something rather than. That's what Kristin calls fun comfortable.
Do I now?
It's good to see you.
I saw you. It's been mere minutes.
Yes, you enjoying this being alone on stage?
I don't mind it.
Oh, I'll leave then. See you guys later.
So I think that's a sign of my growth. Perfect timing. I'm joking, but sincerely, being a really introverted, shy person, meaning that is really hard. And then to be able to play and be comfortable, yes, that's how much I grew both as an actor and as a person. Thank you. Thank you.
So there's the theory that Lana is a meteor freak.
Is there? I don't know this theory.
Oh, so there's a theory that Lana is a meteor freak.
sense, wouldn't it?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you?
Okay, wait, please, can I have more information on this?
Okay, so in my mind, you're always like a Smallville sweetheart, so everybody loves you, but there's a theory that maybe everybody is under your control, everybody loves you.
Wow.
By you, I mean.
Yes, I understand. I like this theory. So, she was in the Meteor shower, lost her parents, and in fact, got infected with kryptonite. And from that point on, she cast a spell upon the town, and they all loved her. And what did she get out of this? Not much.
Well, they say that all Meteor freaks are bad.
A lot of concussions. It's a crappy meteor power, though. Yes, that's true. She was very bad at it, though. But yes, I like this theory. I feel like we should develop it further. Maybe this can be in the animated series. Thank you, darling. Okay, goodbye. Oh, hi.
Hi, Kristin. Welcome to New Jersey. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Speaking of the podcast that you mentioned before, I don't know if you heard this week where the guys were discussing the Reckoning 100th episode, and they had Al Go on. And he happened to make a reference to the fact that you were disappointed that you were not the character that died.
No way I said that.
That leads me to my question is, were you starting to feel fatigue of playing the character after 100 episodes, or was there something else going on?
I don't remember ever saying that. Doesn't mean that I didn't, but I don't remember saying that. By that point, I don't know, I've said this before in a variety of ways, but there were times I really struggled on Smallville. Not because the show it was never about the show specifically. It was about the process of doing the show, about being on a show that was run by mostly men. There were no women in positions of power on that show. And by that time I was in my 20s, but I still felt, I think I was still young in some ways, and I still hadn't learned how to, I had begun to have a voice, for myself, but I hadn't really settled into that yet. And so there were ways in which I struggled, which had very little to do with the show itself. And so maybe that's what it is. Maybe I think that doing these, coming to conventions and meeting people, and I've recontextualized the show for myself. I've got a new relationship to the show, and I can see it from a less inside-out kind of perspective, if that makes sense. So this is a very long and personal answer to this question.
It's a great one, thank you.
Yeah, but I guess it's not so much fatigue as I really just struggled. I struggled. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello.
Oh my God, hi.
Is that too much? Hello.
All right, I'm talking to you right now. Hi, my name is Joseph.
Hi, Joseph.
So Lana is no stranger to having powers. She's been a witch.
Sure.
She's been a vampire.
Sure.
And you also had Clark's powers for a little bit as well. Sure. So my question is more for you personally. If you had superpowers, what would you do with them? How would you like to change the world with them?
Oh wow, you've really positioned this like an altruistic thing, so I have to. Powers. I mean, powers are interesting, right? Because they're physical. They're one person. So what can one person do with physical powers that's really impactful? I mean, Clark saved people, and there were supervillains to deal with. But I always wonder, what impact does it ultimately make to wield those powers? I don't know. I feel like it's sort of like solving things that are super downstream, things that are the effects of other things that we maybe don't address, like poverty or racism or, whatever it may be. So, I don't know. Is there a power that could help human beings care for each other more? There's the answer. Yes, but I think if I had powers and they were altruistic, I think the best thing you could do is help people. Help people in difficult situations, pull them out of physical difficulties. Am I missing something massively? Like, what else can you do besides physically save people? Unless you were a little bit evil, and then you could decide that you were a benevolent dictator, and then you could kill a bunch of people. And become the benevolent dictator, and you could maintain power because you're ultimately strong.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I just want to add, Scotty doesn't know.
Yes.
Scotty doesn't know.
Thank you for that with the Euro trip, because that was the greatest scene. Sky doesn't know. Hi, Kristin. Thank you for coming, and thank you for your many years of work. While you may have been, I didn't see you first from Smallville. It definitely grew, especially when, for 7 years of Smallville, it definitely showed the awesome side of you. So thank you for all your years of work.
Thank you.
My question is the fact that everybody was brought back for the series finale. My question is just, how come you didn't come back?
Good question. One of the things that I liked about Lana's ending is that she went off into the world for herself. And I was fairly certain that if I came back onto the show, I'd come back into the show for Clark. And I wanted her to keep, in our imaginations, keep being her on her own. And that was my mentality around it. I don't know, I didn't talk to anybody about it. It was just an internal process. But that's what I wanted for her as a character I'd come to really care about over the years. I wanted her to keep going and keep being out there and a woman doing what she loves for the reasons that are in her heart.
Keep being a badass.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, hi.
Hi, Vivian. Thanks.
Yes.
My question is, looking back at Smallville now, since all these years passed, what has been your personal biggest takeaway from your experience on Smallville, or just the show in general, how it impacted your life, that you realize now that you're older?
It's a good question and hard to answer. Okay, there are a few things. Because we're in this environment, I realize how much, this is going to sound like such a kind of a dick thing to say, but I realize how much the show is outside of me. I think when I was in it, I felt so myopic, and I felt like I was in my experience, and now I am not. Now the show is, I am a conduit, a kind of a placeholder for some experience that every single person here has had with the show. It's not about me at all. It's about themselves and a relationship they have to something important to themselves. And I want to honor that for everybody. So that's one thing. Another part of it is, about kind of relationships. And this is about my relationship to all of the people who worked on this show, the cast especially, because I see them fairly regularly now. This is hard for me to articulate sort of, but there's like a continuity of friendship that I've come to really value, wherein I've known these people since I was a teenager. Not all of them, but the boys especially. And having known myself and known them through all of these years and all of these changes, even if I only see them, and I see Erica and Laura in different contexts, but mostly I see the guys in this context. But seeing each other through all these shifts in our lives, there's a real beauty to having that experience, and that's something that I could never have guessed. When I walked away, Tom jokes about it all the time. When we wrapped, I was like, "Peace out, see ya," and little did I know that this was something that would continue to enhance and change and inform my life in beautiful ways. And so I guess that ripples out further to, like, you don't know that these relationships, and also now I have relationships with people here. Like, yes, they're in, like you and me, but like there's like a bunch of people in different contexts that I've developed in the ways that we have developed relationships, that I get to see them go through their lives and they get to see me. And I don't know, there's something really special about reaching out across the void like that. I find it quite moving, and I don't think I would have thought that when I started. Thank you.
Hi, Kristin. My name is Shanna. So first off, I just want to tell you how much I enjoyed Burden of Truth and Beauty and the Beast.
Thank
Those
you.
are also very great shows. If you guys haven't seen them, do it.
Yes.
I shipped Lana hard up until season 7. I did not accept the Clark-Lois relationship until you were completely off the show, as I think many people did, though with respect for the Lord. One of the things, though, is while I do like how they got her off the show in terms of giving her powers, giving her a purpose beyond the show, one of the things I wanted to get your thoughts on are about the perspective that Clark and Lana couldn't be together, and that's why they weren't, versus they didn't want to be together. And I felt that at times in the future, when him and Lois get together, it was more driven from the fact that he couldn't be with Lana. So I wanted to hear what your perspective on thinking about it from that context was.
Yes, I hear that, and it does. What do I want to say about this? What I want to say is, I think that they probably would have gotten to the place eventually. I mean, I don't know, but based on where this story goes, they would have to have gotten to a place where they came to the conclusion that they weren't right for each other in the end. I don't know that that's as interesting as a story necessarily, and this dramatic moment is kind of beautiful in that it forces Clark, because you don't see the effects of this on Lana, it forces Clark to let go of what feels like the love of his life and to carry her in a special place in his heart. But it shows us too that there's more than one love, and there can be another great love. There isn't like isn't like one replaces the other necessarily, even though the person that you might die with is not the person that you fell in love with when you were 15 years old. And I think that that is a beautiful story, that he moves on to this other love. And I don't know, I think by the end it's clear that she's his choice, that she's who he picks, and she's great for him, and they're great for each other. And Clark and Lana never got a chance to develop a mature relationship. They were very much still in a childhood place with so much trauma that they never solved, so many hurts that they never healed. They had a long way to go, and it's easy to romanticize it, but I like that there was that messiness for him, and that he ultimately had to find his way through, and in that he finds a person who's gorgeous and powerful and funny and all of those things that he needs. I don't know if that answers your question, but...
No, it does. It's a great answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Love Letters was amazing.
Oh wow, referencing Love Letters.
Would you do another play?
Oh, funny you're asking me this. This last summer, I got asked by the Halifax company to maybe do something, but I was busy because I had press for the new show. But it was Midsummer's Night Dream, and they were wondering if I would play Titania.
Seriously?
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I was terrified, but I was really considering it. Because I haven't been, I mean, I won't count Love Letters as like on stage necessarily, but I haven't been on stage since high school.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm flirting with it. I'm flirting with it in a smaller context, probably like in a theater like in Halifax. Because my friend Billy Boyd had done a play with Don in Halifax that went to Toronto. Oh, I'm getting the boot. But it's okay. So I'm thinking about it. I am thinking about it.
Flirt with it hard.
Okay, I'll flirt with it hard. If you have any plays that you're thinking of, let me know. Two-handers preferably.
It's more the slipper than the boot, I promise. Round of applause, please, for Kristin.
she's episode 4, Erica's in episode 4 of Murder in a Small Town. We're gonna do an Instagram thing, the two of us. So yes.
Awesome. Has everybody checked out Murder in a Small Town already?